Hello everyone, welcome to the intro video for the Avalanche V3 by Snowcat Mods. Today I'm going to be talking more about this mod, walking you through what's new about it, and importantly telling you both the pros and some of the considerations that you might want to think about before you purchase the mod. So both of these are nylon. In fact, this is a nylon composite, meaning that it is nylon mixed with another material. I don't want to say necessarily what it is because different versions have different composite materials, which will be listed in the description of the item on my website. But let's just quickly do a run through now. So as we can see here, we have two black units. And one of the first things, I wanted to do was just freshen things up, just do something different, right? I've been selling these for almost 5 years now, and I think it's just time for a change. So when we look at the difference, right, we can see that there's definitely a difference appearance between the two. This is more of a matte finish. This has a little bit more of a sheen, right? And I think it really just, they both look good, but I'm just super happy to see something new, and I really like the way that this looks. Now, the other big difference is that I am going to be able to offer more color choices. So we see a silver here. We see a white. Apologies, this one isn't fully built. We see this tan, which I'm going to be calling Dune. And then we even see one that is not even nylon. This is polycarbonate, commonly used in bulletproof glass. And I'm going to be calling this Glacier, and it has this really neat appearance. So by moving away from MJF printing to FDM printing, we're getting just a wide variety of color choices. And even when we're comparing black, we're getting a difference in appearance. People, when they hear FDM printing and they know about 3D printing in general, they'll say, oh, well, this is the kind of printing, anybody can do in their home. Well, that is true. FDM printing, as we see here, is a technology that is commonly seen in home 3D printers. However, there are levels to FDM printing. There is what you see in your home, and there is what you might see in a commercial or industrial space. And the commercial and industrial units have far more capability than the one that you see in the average home. So these units are using an industrial FDM printing method. You really could not do this in the home. You could take the model and you could print it in PLA at your house, and it would come out looking somewhat similar, but there would not have the mechanical properties that are offered by nylon and polycarbonate. So these materials are extremely difficult to print. It would be very hard for somebody to print it on the average home printer. So I also want to talk about another big advantage of FDM printing over SLS or MJF printing. So let's focus on this for a second. MJF printing is what pretty much everybody who's selling a 3D printed mod is using. Some are using FDM, but most are using this style of printing. MJF can only produce a gray colored mod or product, and then it must be post-process colored. So what we see here is black, and this is a dyed black. So when it's dyed, it can wear out over time, become blotchy, and become ugly. Anybody who's owned a 3D printed mod probably is familiar with this. It can be restored, but it is a messy process. On the other hand, we have these FDM printed mods. The color when it goes into the printer is the same color as it goes out. So when I make it, the material going in is tan or white or silver or black. And what that means is the color is intrinsic. The pigment goes all the way through the plastic, and over time this is not going to fade or wear out. So I would say that's a really big advantage of this new style of printing over our old friend MJF. Now, let's very quickly talk about maybe some of the advantages of the old style of printing over the new style of printing. I would say there's one major advantage, which is that MJF tends to be just a little bit more crisp and clean. So let me flip this over and we can look comparing the logos. So if we compare the logos, right, we can see that the old style MJF is just a little bit more crisp, a little bit more clean. And we can also see this a little bit around maybe the edges of the mod. So this is the big advantage. I would not say that one is better than the other. I would say that what I'm doing now is instead of making a leap forward, I'm making more of a leap to the side. And we're giving up a little bit of resolution in exchange for having so many different coloring options and even material options. So this has all been part of the strategy that I'm trying to implement to just refresh the 3D printing space in our industry. The AV2 was really one of the best products I ever created. That, no product is perfect, and there are certain problems that you can't eliminate, but it was just such a good product that what I tried to do was essentially keep the best things about the AV2 and implement them into the AV3. I wanted to simplify things again. I think this looks great, but it's been around for a long time now, and I just wanted to move something different. So we can see that instead of having the 4 peaks here, we're just going with the 2 on the AV3. So we've talked about the difference of the door, at least the design. So the other big difference that we're seeing here is instead of having a unibody construction, we now have a side access panel. There were 2 reasons why I wanted to do this. So number one of the things that people told me that they didn't like about this model, the AV2, was that they had to remove the battery to get to the bottle. So I have removed removed that issue, and now we can access the bottle from the side very easily without having to remove the battery. And because there's a squonk hole on the other side, it's very, very easy to push the bottle out. The other thing that we can do is now we have an opportunity for either myself or third parties to offer different colors and maybe have some different accent kits. So for example, maybe you might want to buy the white accent kit and maybe you want to buy the white accent door. Well, I'll probably have these included together as an accent kit. But now we have the ability to change the appearance very easily. So another big change has to deal with the strength of the mod. So if we look at an AV2, right, we can see straight through to the back of the mod. That was necessarily so that we could get to the bottle because there was no access from the side. So the AV3 now has an internal wall here, which adds rigidity to the structure, gives it a little bit more torsional strength, and generally improves the strength of the mod. The same with the AV2, the AV3, you can insert the battery if you have a cool battery wrap and you can show it off. So you can still run it without the door and you can use the peaks to remove the battery as such. One of the big changes with the door design is now that you do not have to remove the battery to get to the bottle, I have deleted the option to remove the battery with the door. That was something that I changed because I wanted to improve the battery bay. So it's something that worked well on the AV2, but I think that there were certain things that could be improved about it, and I have tried to act on some of the feedback that I have gotten from customers in this regard. These are both plastic. They are not as strong as metal. They will break under specific circumstances, especially from a very high drop. But I have tried to, I will say, alleviate the likelihood that this mod will break compared to the AV2. Let's look at the top of the mod. So as you can see here, I have actually moved the flexing strike points from here on the AV2 to here on the AV3. So what this is doing is it is moving the stress point around and it is strengthening that aspect of the mod. So I'm not saying it's never going to break, but it has definitely been improved. So not all 21700 batteries are the same. Some are slightly bigger, some are slightly smaller. And in some cases, when you put a battery into the AV2, you could get, let me try to show you here. You might get a slight gap. You don't get a gap with this battery, but you might get a slight gap that maybe looks something, I guess in worst case scenario, it would look like this, right? So I'm not going to say that I have been able to completely reduce this. However, I have reduced it very, very significantly. And that is because the door does not actually touch the battery when it's inserted. We can see here that there is actually a little bit of a gap here, which I do want to address because I know people are going to complain about it. Why is that gap here? Well, it is something that I needed to do to be able to better reduce the likelihood of a gap forming on the side of the mod, which is the most viewed by the user. So, essentially what I have done is I have moved some of the problems from the side of the mod to the top, and in an effort to both reduce and improve the performance of the battery bay and overall increase the strength of the product. Making a door for a clip-in style battery mod is extremely difficult. In fact, I would say that I spent probably a grand total of about 4 to 5 hours making the general design of this mod, and then I spent another 5 months fixing, changing, and implementing the door and the changes to the battery bay on this mod. So I would hope everybody can please just appreciate the fact that a door even exists with this style of mod. So I'm going to take off the door, which we've talked about already. I am going to remove the bottle. Now, one of the things that has changed is previously I used a half round bottle. I'm sorry, I don't have an example of it in front of me, but we're going to a fully round bottle. This is because my supplier has discontinued that previous bottle. So this is an 8 milliliter bottle with an Ultim PEI cap. Well, let's take off the door. Let's remove the battery. Let's take out what is called the contact gate. So this holds the gate in place. And let's take out the contact here. Okay, so let's just notice here that the contact actually goes in through here and then rotates in. Let's take out the button. So one thing I want to talk about is the locking feature. So this does have a locking feature just like the AV2, but it is now on like its 6th or 7th revision. And this is the biggest revision yet. I have made an effort to make this stronger. So in the past, it would still happen now, to be honest, but it can endure more force without breaking. I still have the hole open here. The reason why this hole is here so that you can take a 12 millimeter deep socket and a 1/4 inch driver and disassemble this very easily. So you can disassemble this without any special tools. We just put it in like that, unscrew it, allow the socket to drop out, and we have all of our parts come out just like that. So all you need to disassemble this is 12 millimeter deep socket and a 1/4 inch driver. Here are the internals. And you'll notice that these are all silver plated. The 510 is from Stimmy Vapor, which I've been using for a long time. I'm very happy with it. It is a spring-loaded 510. So if you've owned one of my mods in the past, you're definitely familiar with this 510. One big change is the contacts. So now I am getting these contacts made. They come straight from the factory, basically ready to go. And there's a big improvement, I would say, especially with the dimple. So the dimple now, instead of just being a dome, it now has a flat area to increase the conductivity. And generally speaking, we have a nicer, shinier looking internal contact. Avalanche series is very, very small for a 21700 battery mod. And in fact, it is about the same size as the average box and door. So where we have a box and we're putting the door in, 18650 mod. So this is a really, really small mod considering the fact that it is a 21700 mod. So ladies and gentlemen, this basically sums up the technical portion of the Avalanche V3 intro video. I am, again, really, really happy with this product. I love the new look. I'm excited about the refresh that we're getting. I like some of the new additions. One of the things that, you know, I'm going to be doing is offering accent kits. Overall, I'm just really excited about this product. I think you guys are gonna like it. You're gonna like the refresh. It functions very similar to the AV2, which was a fantastic product with some added benefits. And I am very much looking forward to you purchasing this mod. I want to remind everybody that I offer a 7-day money-back guarantee on your purchase. So from 7 days within receiving your mod, if you don't like it for some reason, please contact me and we can discuss it and maybe have it returned. I do expect that the mod is in full working order if you choose to return on the basis of the 7-day guarantee. If you want to order, go to my website, www.snowcapmods.com. There you can find even more detailed information about the product, and you can go into my web store. You can pay with card and have it delivered anywhere in the world within 10 days and within 5 days within the United States. I try to always have something available. So I try to always have at least one version of each model available on my website at all times. It's getting harder these days, but I am still managing to do it for the most part. So you do not have to be jostling for other people in line or waiting for drops or trying to win a raffle. It should just be available on a normal, typical web store interface. So please check out snowcapmods.com. I realize that this video is a little bit long, so if you've made it this far, thank you so much, and have a great evening or day. Take it easy.